Hey folks, welcome back to Only Best Fancy Novels. My name is Robin, and today we're talking about Blackveil, the fourth book in the Green Rider series by Kristen. And this series just continues to hit a new peak with each installment. Like, holy crap, why are more people not talking about these books? So what is Blackveil about? Time marches on, the seasons are changing, and schemes are plenty afoot. Even as the elections arrive to talk about the forthcoming trip to Blackveil Forest, to delve into the heart and to delve into the mysteries there. There's a royal wedding on the royal wedding draws closer. But that's on the side of the Sacradians. The Second Empire has their own plans brewing, and they're not waiting on anyone. So this is like I can't quite describe how intense this series has proven itself to be over and over with each new installment, and this book is no exception. Let's talk about this one. So, like one thing I've kept saying over and over about these books is that yes, it's very much inspired by classic fantasy, but it's all about the character stories. The character stories are the heart and soul of this book. This book does not work without the character dynamics and the relationships that is clearly the primary focus, and that's what we get in this book. In particular, of course, with surrounding Carrigan, she gets put through the ringer in this book in more ways than one. Like we have the entire situation with the royal wedding and her to begin with. We have the complicated feelings she has the complicated relationship that she has with Alton Dyer. And then, as if that's not bad enough, certain revelations begin to come to light regarding her family. So, needless to say, it's a very trying time for her. And that's, of course, before we get to the whole expedition into Blackveil and the just crazy adventure that becomes. And adventure is putting a very fun twist on it, shall we say. Even within that story arc, like we kind of see more of an aspect of Carrigan's personality that we don't usually see, which is the way that she bonds with her fellow writers in a more platonic sense. So that's something that was really fun to see, to kind of play out, and just the dynamics that they have as essentially co-workers, and that camaraderie that they build. So it's like it kind of added a kind of wholesomeness to the series, because like one of the things that at this point, 4 books in, Carrigan has like multiple subplots. It's nice to know that she does have like normal relationships with quite a few different people that don't threaten to bridge into the romantic, if that makes sense. But between everything that happens with Carrigan in this book, it's a roller coaster ride, to put it mildly, and that's before we even get to the ending, which is a whole lot of ballgame. Regarding the events of this book, like I think of this book as very much a series installment. Like when I think of the story arcs that play out in here, they don't stand well on their own. You can't really pick this book up and read it as like the first book you read in the series just blindly. The way that you can with certain, it's not really a self-contained arc as much as it is. Like without the context of the broader series as a whole, this book would not really work. So it's very much a series installment, you can call it. It does serve mainly, as much as there's 2 major arcs that play out through over the course of this novel, it is very much a book built to expanding the overall arc of the series as a whole. That being said, it also does it in a weirdly tangential way. Like some of the things that get expanded on in here aren't necessarily like related to the overarching conflict that we've seen kind of starting and being built towards. Like it's very much subplot related, and so yeah, that, like, be warned about that. Don't expect, like, there's plenty of very fascinating things that happen in here, especially as we get closer to the ending. But don't expect this to really push things forward to an ending in any way, shape, or form, if that makes sense. So, like, because of that, like, the book, it kind of, for me, it almost like in a way it almost lacks that gravitas, because you don't, like, as much as these events are very portentous, you don't get this sense that they're like they're critical to the major story as a whole, if that makes sense. Not to say that this is a bad book in any way, shape, or form. Like it does very much progress the story, just not in a way that I think really justifies the page count. Yeah, I'm really not doing a good job of describing this, because even with all of that said, like, I really enjoyed this book. It was really fun. Like, it was really fun to follow Carrigan's escapades. You might as well say in this book in particular, with what happens before the expedition into Blackveil and then the expedition itself, and just the strangeness that they encounter in that particular journey. Like, given I've said all of that, I'm not. I get the sense that I'm not really imparting how deeply I was sucked into this story, because I was very much sucked in. Like, I was for all that it doesn't necessarily push things forward in a really major way. It is very engaging. Like, there are plenty of moments to just marinate and enjoy the journey as it is, and not necessarily worry about the destination. On one hand, you can say it doesn't necessarily bring anything new to the table, but at the same time, it's just packed with so many wild events, so many twists and turns that you don't necessarily expect. That it doesn't matter. I just had a blast reading it, because certain stories play out not necessarily in the way that you expect, and then of course there's that absolutely major cliffhanger ending that we get. That, like, I have to wait at this point. I have to wait 3 weeks before reading the next book, and I don't know how the hell I'm going to achieve that. Yeah. Honestly, that's really all I have to say about Blackveil. It's a very, very solid installment into the series that does some very exciting things. At the same time, I get it. For me, it doesn't feel like it really pushes things forward as much as the previous books did. There is some progress. There is quite a lot of progress, but not as much as I would expect given the page count. If I had any critiques about this book, I guess. But yeah, all in all, just a bang of a series that just continues to deliver. Blackveil is no exception. And now I need to figure out what to do for the next 3 weeks until I can read the next book, which I think is Mirror Sight. Yeah, that's pretty much my thoughts on Blackveil. If you made it this far into the video, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.